Third cup of coffee today, delicious. Guys, Barista Josh back again. Today we're gonna talk about the Americano and where it came from, the details, the history, why I love an Americano, and a lot of times it's my go-to drink. And yeah, let's just have a good time and learn some facts about the Americano, because if you think about it, it's a simple drink with quite the unique history. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So great to have you here. I haven't been on a lot, but Josh is out of town at the moment, so I was able to step in, fill in the shoes. Some would say better, honestly, because I'm better. And yeah, today we're going to talk about the Americano because it feels like Josh has been doing a lot of reviews recently and all these things. And I was like, you know what? Let's bring it back to our roots and talk about coffee and the history of coffee, because surprisingly you guys have really enjoyed the videos that I've done where I talk about like the history of like the Chemex and different things like that. So we're going to talk about the history of the Americano. Now real quick, some of you may be wondering, Josh, I've heard you say before that you really like ordering Americanos, and even when you give reviews on shops, a lot of times you order an Americano. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Basically, one of the first ways that I judge a coffee shop on if they know what they're doing, if they understand coffee, is how good is your espresso? It'd be kind of like if you were going to a steak restaurant and you got something besides the steak. It wouldn't make sense to not get the steak and try it because that's what they're known for. A coffee shop should be able to do coffee well, and if they can do espresso well, which is arguably one of the harder things to do right in coffee, then more than likely the rest of their coffee is good. Now, I don't want to just go for an espresso shot because there's always that chance that it's not good. It's not dialed in properly, the coffee itself is not delicious, and it's a terrible experience to go have an espresso and realize that it's bad, one. Two, that you want your caffeine because it's like 10 a.m. and you're in a new city and you can't do anything. You just have to finish it and be sad. But if you try an Americano, you get to try the espresso, still taste the nuances of the espresso, see if it's dialed in properly, what the tasting notes are. But if it's bad, then you have the option of always adding cream and sugar to it to help with the taste. And the fact that it's diluted with water also just helps a lot of times. So it is a lot of times one of my go-to ways. Again, it's also why I order flat whites a lot, because if I want something that's milk-based, then with a flat white, I can at least taste the espresso a lot more than I can in a latte. So yeah, Americanos, flat whites, go-to. But we're not talking about flat whites today, we're talking about Americanos. And some of you may honestly have no clue where the Americano started. And I didn't either till a couple years ago. And apparently the name for the Americano came from World War II. But we're going to back up even farther to before the Revolutionary War, because here in America, tea was the main thing we drank before the Boston Tea Party. And then we yeeted all that tea into the ocean, into the Boston Harbor. That was the right harbor. Yeah, that harbor. And then we were like, we should drink something else because we can't yeet all their tea out and then drink tea. Like, that would be a little weird. It'd be the weirdest rebellion ever. So then they decided to move to coffee, and coffee exploded in the States. What was the States at that point. And it kept growing and it kept growing. And then we fast forward to World War II, when there was so much of a need for coffee from soldiers that it was being roasted, ground, and packaged for shipment to go on ships overseas to go with the soldiers, because there was just so much coffee that was being consumed. Now, obviously it's war. Sometimes, coffee can't be the precedence of what gets taken. If your boy Josh here was a commanding general-in-chief, then the coffee would take precedence, because you gotta stay awake to be able to fight, so coffee's a great option, like why not? But they didn't always get the coffee there. There wasn't always, enough money, enough space, enough time to be able to ship the coffee out. So they had to go with other alternatives. And American GIs, they realized they didn't like the coffee in Italy, which makes sense. It's espresso or maybe a cappuccino. Very different from the 12, 16 ounce beverage they are used to getting in the United States. And they were just not a fan, and the Italians realized that if they, combined put the espresso shot in a cup and then pour hot water over the top, it would mimic something similar to what the Americans were used to. And so they started calling this a cafe Americano, which literally just translates to American coffee. So they literally made this because we were too much of pansies to drink their espresso, and we needed to literally dilute it with water. Just let that sink in for a minute. We won the war, but we couldn't drink espresso. Yeah. You can think about that one for a minute. It's interesting. Now, if you know anything about Italians and coffee, they have very, very specific ways that they take their coffee. They have very specific rules about when you can have espresso, when you can't have espresso, what are appropriate times to drink coffee, and we'll get into all that in a different video. But Italians love their coffee. It's just the same way the basic white girls like their iced caramel macchiatos, Italians love their coffee. I'm gonna get a comment for that one. But they love their espresso. And so when they saw what they had to do to their espresso for the Americans, they literally dubbed the drink dirty water, because that's what it was to them. They were, first of all, ruining their espresso in their opinion, and just destroying it with just hot water instead of actually drinking the espresso. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I've never walked into a shop where an Americano is called dirty water, but I'm fine with that. And honestly, if you think about it, it makes sense. A chai is, just like tea, milk, latte kind of thing. But then you add espresso to it, a chai, and it becomes a dirty chai. So you add espresso to water, it becomes dirty water. Makes sense. Maybe I'll just order that at some point and see what someone gives me. Maybe not. But that is literally where the Americano started. It was called the Cafe Americano because it was American coffee, or dirty water because they didn't like the Americans ruining their espresso that way. That's kind of where it's got its origins from, and it's become a very popular drink. A lot of people really enjoy their Americanos, whether it's hot or iced. It's a very refreshing way to enjoy an espresso and be able to sip on it a little longer and enjoy it for a longer period of time than just, throwing back an espresso and calling it a day. There's some days when you need that, but some days you just really want to sip on it and enjoy it. And an Americano is a fantastic way to do it. Now, maybe you don't have a way to make an Americano at home because you're like, Josh, I don't have an espresso machine. Ooh, what am I supposed to do? I love Americanos. I don't want to go to the shop. Well, let me tell you, there's an easy way to fix that, and it's with an AeroPress. An AeroPress, you can make an Americano-esque shot. It's not going to be exactly the same, but with the fellow Prisma, which I did a review on, you can make an espresso-type shot and then literally put hot water or iced water and make an iced or hot Americano. And it's a great alternative if you don't have a way to, make espresso at home. But yeah, guys, that is what I got today on the Americano. I really hope you enjoyed this. I really like these because one, a lot of times it helps me find out things I didn't know about coffee or give me some more details, which is always fun to know. And two, I like teaching you guys and I like sharing things with you. Reasons why I want to start a course at some point, but I don't know, maybe we'll. If you would take a course from me on coffee, let me know. Leave a link in the comments. Leave a comment about it. I'd be very interested. But guys, it has been fun. Have a great Tuesday. I will see you all on Friday. A reminder, actually, I probably won't see you on Friday. Josh will see you on Friday, more than likely. But a reminder that Josh is currently snowboarding right now on a little snowboard trip. So stay on the lookout for those vlogs. They are going to be fire. They're going to be so fun. Might not be fully focused on coffee, but they're going to be a real blast, and I hope you all enjoy them. So thank you all so much for watching. Just remember to stay caffeinated, stay happy, stay healthy. Have a coffee for me, not for Josh, for me. And I will catch you all in the next video that I'm a part of, or that I hijack. We'll see. Bye.